Welcome. In this module, we will see a live demonstration of the etching process which you might have studied in the theory modules. Etching, as you know, is one process in the whole microfabrication process flow, where you remove material from a pattern that you have formed using lithography techniques like photolithography or electron beam lithography. So, it is a subtractive process where you remove material, that is etching from a basic level, basic point of view. Before we go into the actual process of etching, you need to know that etching fundamentally is a chemical process. There is also reactive ion etching which has physical and chemical processes involved in it, but my point is not about the science of it, but about the safety of it. So, because it involves handling chemicals, you need to be gowned properly. So, as you can see, I have put gloves, face mask, head mask, and more importantly goggles to protect your eyes from any unaccounted for reactions that might occur. This is actually, even this is not enough. If you are handling much severe chemicals like hydrogen fluoride, then you need to have a Teflon coated gloves on top of it. But since the chemicals that we are handling today in this demonstration are not that dangerous, we can afford to use this much protection to demonstrate the etching process. Conventionally, etching is done on a wet bench. This is a wet bench process. What is a wet bench? A wet bench is a workstation where chemicals in liquid form are processed or used for making devices, microfabricated devices. Microfabricated devices, it will have a flow of water, deionized water preferably, and air to clear, wash it, and dry the samples that are used. So, today we because again, since it is a very simple demonstration of etching, we are not actually doing it on a wet bench, we are just doing it on our tabletop, bench top, and we will be demonstrating basic etching process. Now, what we are going to etch is the pattern that we are going to etch is on this glass wafer. Okay, I am not sure whether you will be able to see the pattern, but it will be visible once the etching process completes. Now, let me quickly describe you the process flow of this. This is a 3-inch square glass wafer, glass slide, where we have patterned a micro heater using nickel. So, and then so what is the process flow? We take a 3-inch glass slide, we do piranha cleaning of the glass slide, we clean the glass slide, then we do nickel metal deposition on top, blanket deposition using methods like either E-beam evaporation or sputtering. This is specifically a sputter deposited nickel. So, we do nickel deposition. Then next, what is the next step? Next step is to form the pattern on the micro heater, on the glass slide. So, how do we do the patterning? We need a source, right? So, that source will come from the source design will come from the mask plate. So, mask plate is where the design of your micro heater will be there, and that mask plate will be used with the photolithography machine to create the pattern on your glass slide. So, again coming back, you have your glass slide, you put nickel material on top of the glass slide. Okay. Next is to pattern it, right? Before patterning, what do you have to do? You have to coat the glass slide which has the nickel deposited with any photoresist material. Okay, it can be a positive PR or a negative PR that you might have learnt in theory. You coat with a photoresist material. Then how do you coat it? You coat it with spin coating. You put the material on top, then you put it in a spin coater. In the spin coater, this glass slide will rotate continuously and uniformly distribute the photoresist material on the glass slide. Once that is done, you take the glass slide from the spin coater and then you put it on a hot plate to bake it. Okay. So, that is for like 1 or 2 minutes at 110 degrees Celsius you will bake the glass slide. Then photoresist is nicely coated on your surface, underneath is the nickel material. Then you take the glass slide, you go to your photolithography machine. There you load your mask plate, then you load your sample which is the glass slide with nickel and photoresist coated, and then you expose the glass slide with the photoresist using your mask plate which has a design of the micro heater on it. So why exposure? What do you mean by exposure? We mean flooding your sample, which is a glass slide, using a UV light source through the mask plate. Then what happens? Wherever the design is there, that part will not get exposed and the remaining part gets exposed depending on what type of PR you are using. It happens the other way if you are using a negative PR. Okay. So that is the method. Once exposure is done, you take it out again, then you have to develop your photoresist material. So that is again development process is there. Okay. After developing, you do hard baking. So then hard baking will be done. So during developing, in all the areas where the pattern is not there, the photoresist will be removed. Photoresist will be there only as on top of the pattern. So this photoresist that is there will act as the etch stop while you are doing etching. Okay. Then you do the hard baking again at 110 degree for 2 minutes or depending on the process flow, and after hard baking you take out the sample. Now the sample is ready for etching. So what I have in my hand right now is a sample that is ready for etching. Okay. So are you able to see the pattern here? You will be slightly able to see the pattern once we come into focus. A small heater pattern. A pattern is visible inside, yes. So this pattern is visible. So but it is flooded with nickel material. If you see in this portion, everywhere nickel is there, and this is visible because PR is also there on top of it. That's why it's slightly visible in contrast with the nickel material. Now when we do etching, we don't want nickel here or anywhere else except where the pattern is there. So we will do etching where the nickel will get removed from unwanted places and it will stay underneath the PR. Once that process is done, next stop is to, even if the process is done, your PR will still cover your nickel material, right? So then you have to remove your photoresist. That is the final process. Today we will be showing only the etching process where the nickel gets removed from the remaining parts apart from the pattern. Okay. So before we actually do the experiment, I have few more things to tell you. So the etchant that we use for nickel etching is ferric chloride. So this is ferric chloride anhydrous, that means it is dry ferric chloride. So we take a specific amount depending upon the concentration that you need for the etchant, let us say 3 grams, 10 grams, and then dissolve it in 100 ml or 200 ml of deionized water. Okay. So you can for every process, so let us say you have deposited your metal with sputtering as compared to depositing your metal with E-beam evaporation. The metal coating that you have on your glass slide will vary. Accordingly, your etch rate will also vary. So when you are first proving your process flow to make a device, you will have to optimize your etchant, because one etchant concentration that works for one device might not work for another device, because how the materials were deposited might be different, and the processes which were followed, like how much time it was heated, at what temperature it was heated at previous steps, all these will affect the etch rate. So before you fix the etch rate, what we do is you start with a very dilute concentration of the etch rate, see how the etching is happening, and then keep changing it so that finally you get an optimum concentration of the etching and the etch time. So what are two critical factors in etching is the etch rate of the etchant, which is directly related to the concentration of the etchant that you use, and the time of etching, how much time you want to do the etching. Why time of etching is important is, one thing is if you keep it in the solution for a long time, even your pattern which you want to preserve underneath your PR, even that will get etched off by seepage underneath the photoresist material. And another thing is, even if you are slightly over time, you will get undercuts in your design. Let us say your features have to be perfect flats, right? Perpendicular features, you have 190 nanometer metal coated and you have photoresist material on top, and at the edges of the features you want perfect flat downs, but because of etching they form V-shaped structures. These are called undercuts. So to avoid such undercuts, you have to critically optimize your etch time and etch rate. So these are very crucial parameters in process design and process finalization when you want to make a device. Okay. So let us get to the etching. So we have already prepared the etchant, which is ferric chloride. Yeah. So we have prepared the etchant material, which is ferric chloride, made a solution in DI water. So that is there here, and once we do etching, you will directly put it in the dish which contains deionized water, which is this second dish. Okay. So let's start doing it. So what we have to do is take your glass slide which has the pattern, and then we have to dip it in the etchant. So we have to we have optimized the time. So it is around 1 minute. In 1 minute 10 seconds the etching will complete. So we have put it. I hope you will be able to see the substrate on it. So you can, now you don't see any change. So if just wait, after some time you will start seeing material getting removed. Yes, now you can see here material slowly getting removed from here. It will get removed from here. So it is always good to agitate. A uniform agitation of the sample is always advised. So you can see that material is getting removed. So you can see not bottom part, full part. So if you see here full area, the material is removed. You can see the pattern very more clearly now. But material has to be removed from this portion also. Do you see? So it's slowly getting removed. So we will wait for the material, as it is very clearly visible. We will wait for the material to be removed from the top portion. So sometimes what happens is, because of the any process variations, especially sputter deposited metal is very difficult to etch. Usually e-beam evaporation is preferred to for etching. So because this is sputter deposited gold, there is some non-uniformity in the metal deposited also on the slide. That is why some part the metal is removed and some part it is still there. So let's just wait it out and see if it goes. If it doesn't go also, that is also again a problem with the metal that is deposited because of the process. But here reasonably it is going. Yeah, you can see now it's much more clear. The pattern is much more clear. Most of the metal has gone, and the photoresist material has protected the design and thus the nickel underneath. Yes, now it has been properly removed, fully removed. You can see the whole pattern very clearly. Once this is done, the next step is to take it and put it in deionized water. So I am taking it, putting it in water. Then you have to wash it. So this is done. Next process is we will take it out. We will blow dry it. We will not show it here, so that this wafer is dry. So after this is blow dried, I will show you this pattern under the microscope, how it looks. Okay. So you can see now very clearly, the pattern is very clear now. You can see how it was before and how it is now. The nickel has been removed from everywhere else except for the where the pattern is. Very nicely it has come. It has got etched everywhere throughout. And then next step we can see it under the microscope. So please remind yourself that this is not the end of the process flow. Next step is you have to expose the metal, right? Now metal is underneath the photoresist. So you have to remove the photoresist also. For that what you have to do is dip it in acetone, then IPA, 30 seconds each, and then wash it with water. That's final step. We won't be showing that here now, or we will try to show it at a later point. Now this module was to show you how etching is done. After I blow dry this, we will also see this under the microscope. So now, as I have said, we have blow dried the sample So sample is dry now. Next is to image it, correct? As you might have seen, the features are not that small. They are reasonably big features. The overall device dimension is in centimeter scale. So viewing it in another microscope does not give that much utility. But one thing we can see the metal underneath the photoresist and see how the sharpness of the features that have been formed. These things you can see even if it's a large device. Okay. So we have taken the glass slide and we are viewing it with a metallurgical microscope. So metallurgical microscope is something that has both bottom illumination and top illumination, and if it is a opaque sample which does not allow light to pass through, you can use the top illumination to image your devices or whatever be the sample, and if it's a glass slide, transparent sample like a glass slide, which is what is in our case, we can even use the bottom illumination. So here, because we are using a glass slide, I have used the bottom illumination. So the metallurgical microscope is also the conventional upright microscope. It is almost same, just that it is a slightly bit more sophisticated instrument. So it has different types of magnifications. 5x magnification, which is what I have kept it right now. So the rings, the colored rings on the objective pieces shows us what is the magnification. The red color is the 5x magnification, the yellow color is 10x, the green color is 20x, the blue is 50x, the white is 100x. But as I have said just now, our feature sizes are not that small. So we can easily image the features with the 5x magnification itself. So this is the 5x magnification. You can easily image it with the 5x magnification itself. So we have, it is not actually again a misnomer. I should state it very clearly. The magnification is not 5x. We have an eyepiece here. Eyepiece gives 10x magnification by default. So that 10x into 5x. So it's overall 50x magnification that we get. Okay. And what the eyepiece sees is also captured by a camera here. You can see that what the eyepiece sees is captured by the camera. The camera is connected to a machine, and finally to a software which captures the video feed from the camera, and that can be captured as an image for your further perusal, for publication, whatever. Okay. So that's the brief introduction about the microscope that we are using. We have other microscopes also, like stereo, inverted microscope. Inverted microscope is mainly used for imaging biological samples. Okay. Now I have kept the sample underneath. I have put the view in the micro heater area. We will just see how sharp the features are. Okay. Okay. Now I have seen it under the eyepiece. Now we are seeing it in the software in the video feed. You can see it on the screen. Okay. So now you can see the very sharp features that have been formed. You can just ignore these small dots that are there. Those are slight dust particles that have come settled because we were doing it in this in the lab, not using a wet bench, just for showing it to you. Ideally we should be doing it in a wet bench. So you can see how sharp the features are, and the color change shows you that it is the metal and the photoresist that is there. Okay. Metal has been removed from this light color area, and this dark area contains the metal and the photoresist. So with this way you will be able to see that the metal has not been etched. It has been a very perfect etch. And there are no undercuts. If there was an undercut, you would see a gradation of color here at the boundary, which we do not see. You see a sharp boundary here. That means that there has not been any under etching, and the etching is quite clear. Okay. We can see another area of the sample if you want. So this is the contact pad. So that's why it's so big dark area is there, because this is the contact pad, and this is where metal has been removed. So hope this is clear to you. This is how we will use the microscope to see how the features have been formed on your etched sample. So what all we have done, we have used the post lithography, post development sample, used a etchant, appropriate etchant. You choose your etchant depending upon the metal that you have used, or other material, non-metal also, what other material that you have used. There is even silicon dioxide etching, so there are many processes. Then you use a suitable etchant, you etch it after optimizing the etching time. you etch it for the exact time so that your etching features are sharp and as per design. Once etching is done, you wash it and dry it, then you can see it under the microscope how features are formed, and final step would be to remove the photoresist material that is there on top of the features, and then you can directly use your sample for either for your experiments or for further processes if yours is a multi-process flow, multi-step process flow. Hope you have understood the etching process clearly. See you again.